We've got a special project for you this week on Woodworking with Wes, one that you'll really enjoy. And I don't mean just enjoy building, I mean enjoy having at your home. We're building a planter box, a raised planter box so that you can get into it without bending all the way over to the ground. Did you know that having a garden in your yard not only helps give you some benefits by the fruits and vegetables that you can grow, but also it helps peace of mind. And they tell me that it also helps the environment. Today we've got a great project. Let's get started. Well, we start off by cutting our 1x8 pine into 6.5-inch widths for the actual box of our planter box. These are going to be turned into the legs. And so we're going to go over to our chop saw. We're going to cut everything to length. Our side pieces are going to be 36. Our end pieces are going to be 15. Our legs are going to be 30 inches high. Let's go over to the chop saw. We're going to start off by putting our long sides together. We're just going to lay them down flush, and we have a little corner block that we're going to be nailing on like this, just on the corner. So it's going to give it a little straight edge to line up to, and we're going to put one of these blocks on each corner, and then when we nail our side piece on, we'll have not only the end of our long stock to nail into, we'll have a little block to nail into too. So we'll start off with that. I guess what we need to do is we need to put a little glue. Let's use some Titebond 3 glue to glue these in. We're using Titebond 3 waterproof glue. That'll give it a little extra holding power, and being as we're going to be using this in a planter box, that waterproof glue will hold up. So let's give it a little bead of glue down the end of our corner block. And we're using 1.25" 18 gauge brads to nail our corner block in to start off with. Okay. A little glue down our other corner and our other corner block. We're just holding our two pieces tight together. I didn't glue those, but you certainly could, because they're going to expand and contract a little bit. We'll allow them to be able to move separately. And there's what our side looks like, right there. Let's go ahead and make the other one. With our two side pieces done, we're going to stand each one of them up on end like this and like this, and then we're going to nail our end pieces on. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the end of my end pieces. I'll start and nail that, and we'll just make our corners flush like that. So let's lay one side down. Let's stand one side up. A little bit of glue. We're tacking this in place with 1.25" 18 gauge brads, but I'm going to show you something here in just a minute that will give us a much more secure assembly while it's out in the weather. Okay, here's our corner. All right, so we have our corner like that. We're going to come back after we get it all put together, and we're going to take some 1 5/8" deck screws. They're coated to be able to be outside, and we're going to take these screws and we're going to secure our corner like that with some deck screws up, and it'll make it a good solid corner. Our next piece goes on the same way. Little glue on the corner, stack it up. Make sure that it's flush. Okay, now we'll do all 4 corners the same way. Okay, we now have our box all put together. I wanted to show you about our deck screws and how I put those in. That makes a good solid corner. So now it's glued, nailed, and screwed. Our next step is to get ready to put the floor of our planter box in. This is the bottom. I stopped my little cleats short so that I could nail in a little strip down here like this that is going to be kind of a hanging cleat, not kind of a hanging cleat, it actually is a hanging cleat, for our floor pieces, for our bottom of our planter box. I'm going to glue and nail these in and get ready for the bottom pieces of our planter box. So we'll just put a little glue, put our glasses on so we can see where we put our glue. And we're just going to put some glue down our strip for the bottom of the planter box. And we're going to nail it in flush with the bottom of our planter box. We're going to put plenty of nails. Even though we've glued it, we want plenty of nails. So that's secure. We'll do the same to the other side. We're going to add one more little strip to the inside on the middle of our box to make a support for our 2 pieces. Being as they're not glued together or anything, this will add the additional support in the center that we need. We'll put it in the same way, glue and nails. We're now nailing our pieces in the bottom. They're just random pieces of pine that I had left over. We're putting a little space in between each piece to allow for water drainage. And we'll just nail those in to the bottom cleat that we put in. And I'll go ahead and finish up the bottom. Just spaced just like that the rest of the way across. Okay, there we are with our bottom all nailed in, ready for rocks and soil. It doesn't make any difference about the spacing being exactly the same because we're going to put some large rocks on the bottom, then some smaller gravel, and then our potting soil as we plant our box. Let's go ahead and make some legs so we can put this box in the air. These are the pieces we are going to use to make our legs. We have a 3-inch piece and a 2 1/4-inch piece that are going to go together like this in a right angle and make a 3 by 3 corner. And then our 3 by 3 corner will be attached to the outside of our planter box. These are going to be 30 inches high, and that's going to bring our planter box up to an elevation that'll make it easy to work in and to plant our flowers and our vegetables in. So it's a raised planter box. That's what makes it a raised planter box, is the legs. Let's go ahead and nail some legs together. First thing we got to do, cut them to 30 inches. Okay, we're putting our legs together, our corner legs together. Here's one of them already assembled. I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. We're going to put a bead of our Tight Bond 3 down the corner, or down the edge of our smaller piece. We'll lay our wider piece on it. Like I say, one piece is 3, one piece is 2 1/4, creating a 3 by 3 corner. We'll make sure that it's nice and flush as we work our way up. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to take some of our deck screws and I'm going to give it a deck screw like that in 3 different places. That'll hold it together real good while our glue dries. After I get done with that, I did take the one here and I finished it out. Once I get to this point, I'm going to take it over and I'm just going to put a sand on it to make sure everything's nice and easy. And I'm going to take a 3/16 round over, put down the 3 outside corners and along the bottom so it doesn't splinter out. So this is the way the leg will look when it's sitting out. I'm not going to fill the holes. I'm not worried about that. This is an outdoor piece, but I don't want to have it splintered and I don't want to have it sharp. So we'll just do like that. Let me go ahead and finish out the other 3 legs and then let's put some legs on. With our corner complete and ready to assemble, I'm going to put it just like this, and it's going to fit over the top of that. What we're going to do, I'm going to give myself a little line so I know where to put the glue. We're going to be very generous with the glue on the inside, but we don't want to have any squeeze out, so we want it to be all right in the corner. We're going to do it that way, like that. And we're going to put it there on the corner, rub it a little bit so that it spreads that glue. And then I've got 1.25" nails in my gun. One there. And we're just going to the outside corner, top and bottom with our nail, just like that, because we're going to finish it off by using our deck screws. So here we have our deck screws, and we're going to put 3 deck screws, one top, one bottom, one in the middle, and we're going to do it down this side also. So there'll be 6 screws holding our corner in. And we'll do each of our corners the same way. Thankfully, we have a magnetic tip that hangs onto my screw so it doesn't get away from me. Now we're going to do the other 3 corners the same way until we have all 4 corners ready to go, and then we have one last thing to do. Okay, time for the finishing touch. We made some cap molding to go across the top. It's 2 inches wide, and we're having it mitered in the corners. Same application, glue, nail, and screw. So let's put a little bit of glue on our piece of wood here. We'll line up our 45-degree corners to the inside of our box because we're going to be flush with the inside so that it's nice and smooth. Nails to hold it in place. And screws to make it secure. And again, we're using deck screws so that we don't have to worry about the weather. Okay. And we're going to do that all the way around. Well, we got our little planter box all done. You're always interested in knowing how much I spent for my materials. Now, I went to my big box store, bought retail pine, and I've put it all together, including the nails and screws and everything. I'm less than $100. Just a little less than $100, but I'm less than $100. By the time I put some plants in here, though, and eat the tomatoes that come out of here, I'll make money on this deal. You know, having a garden in your backyard, having some plants, it just makes a nice backyard. And being able to go out and pick some fresh produce off of your own little raised planter garden, that's a bonus also. Anyway, here's your next project on Woodworking with Wes.